Hey guys, welcome. I'm gonna get straight to it. Why roofing sales alone is not gonna help you build a profitable roofing company. For all you contractors out there, roofing salesmen, this one is specifically for you. For the roofing salesmen that are having a hard time getting their numbers up, and for the contractors that can't understand why they have all these jobs and they can't make enough money. Okay? Everyone wants more sales, right? But here's the truth that no one wants to talk about. Sales without production is not going to get you anywhere. Now imagine this. Imagine selling $1 million worth of work at 33% or higher. Now you're going to be walking around pretty content with that, right? But most people want to scale higher than that, especially bigger roofing companies trying to grow. So what happens if you hit 10 million, but you're only making 10%? Is that worth it? You see, there is a system and process that you must put in place, and you have to take action. You can't just sit around waiting for you owners that just give all the confidence to your men, to your women, whoever's working for you, your salesmen, your managers. If you give them the blueprint and you make sure that every single day that they're following it and not going off track, make sure they're not missing meetings. You're gonna make sure that 10 million is up there in that 33%. Because what good are your sales if they're not making money? I've been in these situations. This is why I'm here to tell you I know what it's like. Okay. Here's a little bit about me. Okay. I started roofing in 2014 at the very bottom as a low period apprentice, but I was in the union. So I got trained as a journeyman. On my way up, I got about 3 or 4 years in, I went into a salesman position at a roofing union company that's been around for more than 50 years. So I got top notch training by some of the people selling multi millions every single year, year after year. So I didn't go into no little mom and pop shop starting off trying to, build relationships with clients, which is part of the process, right? I didn't go in there messy. I went in there clean. I went in there knowing what I had to do to be respectful and to get respect. I went in learning all the processes and prevailing wage projects. Now, I got a lot of experience in that game, and it took me into the commercial side once I went into the private side, and it helped me scale those sales even higher on the commercial end. I did struggle a little on the residential side. I'm just going to be completely honest. I left my union company 100K salary to run my own roofing company, which failed. So here I am selling 5 million plus a year for someone else, but I was only doing the sales and the project managing. Okay. Now, jumping into it on my own was a whole different ballgame. I went from commercial prevailing wage sales to residential sales, which I had never really tapped into. Yeah, I did a few jobs on the side here and there. You know what I'm talking about. But point is, it's a whole different ball game when you're trying to run a company and keep that structure. See, I was too focused on being in the company, working on the roof because I knew I could do it. So instead of going after leads, instead of going after new general contractors, instead of building stronger relationships and securing that future for my roofing business, what did I do? I got a lead. I jumped on the roof. I got another lead. I jumped on the roof. And then I had to get off. And then I had to do some accounting. And then I had to do some payroll. And then I had to write some checks. And then by the time I turn around, we're in the slow season. So instead of stacking up in that busy season, on top of that, taking care of a family of 5, and so much happened in my personal life around that time. My baby brother, not baby brother, but 1 year younger than me, passed away. So my business just went down. And I was like, how did this happen? I went from selling 5 million a year to crashing my own business because I wasn't prepared. But here's what I can tell you now. As soon as my business and I decided to let it go, I joined another roofing company. I scaled to 3 million in 1 year. Okay? Now I know I could hit that 5 and I'm on target to do that this year. But what I want to come in and teach you guys, now that I'm done talking about myself, let's talk about you and how we're going to get your sales to the next level. So sales from the beginning, that's just the front end of the business. On the back end of the business, if everything's not dialed in, you're gonna fall apart. Here's what it comes down to. The owners have to provide a blueprint for their salesmen. This is what I want you to do. Here's your prospect list. You need to hit this many houses per week. I need a detailed reports. Now you don't need to make it too complicated for these guys because you're gonna scare them away. But what you do need to do is hold them accountable. At least one weekly meeting a week is going to keep everybody on track. Okay, so it goes from the top, the leadership. If you're not present in your business, now you don't have to be on the roof, you don't have to be guiding every single sales meeting or group meeting, but you do have to be involved. If you're gone in another state doing something else, people are not going to give you their best because they know you're not there, because they think they have time to slack. Me, that's not me. I'm the kind of person that when no one's watching, I'm still doing my thing because I know at the end of the day, it's a numbers game and it's going to fall back on me. Okay? So here's what you need to do. Owners, keep it tight. You don't want people wandering around, taking extra breaks, doing extra things they shouldn't be doing. But you also don't need to be babysitting these guys because you should be hiring the right people. Here's where it comes down to. Salesmen, you walk the job, you sell the job. Now, if you don't have a detailed blueprint or at least know what you're selling to pass that down to your project manager, there's going to be miscommunication there, which is going to lead to spilled profits, which is going to lead to the guys on the field not knowing what they're doing, or they're going to do it their way, and sometimes their way isn't the way that you knew it was supposed to be done. So here's where it comes in. Everybody plays an important role, okay? Owners should be talking to the installers as well. So it's going to come down to great communication, great leadership, and how you're representing your brand, okay? Because at the end of the day, if a salesman tells the owner one thing and the project manager does another thing, well, now you're not being honest with yourself or your work, and you're representing the brand in a bad way, okay? Project managers, a lot of the times when you're getting those orders or the blueprint from the sales guy, you don't interpret it the right way. So sales managers and project managers need to work together better, because here's the thing, it will not work if each guy wants to do things his way. And the problem is sometimes the project managers, they don't want to ask the question because they don't want to sound dumb. But that's not what it's about here. If you're part of a team, why would you sound dumb asking a question when if it slips up on the field, it could cost thousands of dollars? 1 day delay in a project, you all know that's going to cost money. Okay? If you think you're going to make $10,000 on a $30,000 job, guess what? 1 day of delay is going to cost you at least $1,000 or more. And you guys know that. So if you thought the materials were going to get delivered, but you didn't check with the manufacturer, you didn't double check with the manufacturer, or you didn't double check your order list. Okay? Sometimes the project managers, they don't order the materials right. So it's up to the sales guy to make sure he knows what he has to get. And sometimes double checking those works is going to make a crucial point on taking you to the next level and securing those profits. Because at the end of the day, as a salesman, hey, I don't want to have to tell project manager how to do his job. I don't want to have to tell the installers what they have to do. They should just know, cut that out. Okay, because that is going to bleed into the salesman's profits. It's going to bleed into the company's profits. And guess what? It just doesn't work. So here's what I'm going to say. If you guys, as salesmen, think you're just going to sell a job, pass it off, and not worried about it no more, you're wrong. Okay, this is where it comes into building connections that are really going to last and take you to getting those referrals and take you to getting more leads. So salesmen, get your head out of your ass. Okay, you're going to have to learn a little about the roofing systems. You're going to have to learn how they get installed. You're going to have to learn the time frames, because if you need to be able to communicate these to your people, right? Hey, this project's going to be done in 3 days. It's a full re-roof. Hey, if you know that it's a huge possibility, it takes 5 to 8 days, make sure you let your customers know, because you're going to look bad, and that's going to carry on to your team. So one thing that I know for a fact that is happening on most companies is the communication. Okay, communication is always falling apart. Sometimes, if you're like me, you're a project manager and salesman, which I've done both. So I know that I like to be in control of my jobs, because I don't want to see these guys looking dumb. No offense, but I don't want to see them losing, because that's going to make me look bad. At the end of the day, if you sell a job and let's say you sell $100,000 job, okay, and you're telling everyone, hey, this job's great, it's got 40% in there, this job's going to make great money. And then guess what? You didn't tell the project manager that one building was excluded. So now they're roofing that building. You just drop some profits, you drop some materials. Well, guess what? They didn't do a thorough maintenance. So now you're going to have to go back in a few months because it's leaking. You didn't tell them I had to do a full maintenance on it before they did silicone. Okay. Little things like that, right? Let's say there was one building that wasn't included on your tear off, and now you got guys going back having to re-roof a roof that wasn't even included. This is why it's so crucial for project managers and salesmen to be involved with each other. Now, the project manager is probably not going to like the salesman too much, because he's trying to control or demand and how he wants it done. But that's an ego thing. That's an ego debt that the project manager has to get rid of, because he's there to serve the salesman in the best way. But at the end of the day, he's there to serve the company he's working for. Okay? Salesmen, if you put a nice one page together, whether you're doing it on an online server like AccuLinks or whatever your company uses, do the extra step. Okay, write down a list of what needs to go down. Give that to your project manager, so he's not looking like a jackass in front of the owner. Okay, now project managers, make a copy of that. Give a copy of that to your foreman. Okay, on top of that, every single foreman should be walking the job with his project manager and his salesman before it starts. Because trust me, he's going to want to do things his way. The project manager is going to want things done his way. And the salesman, he knows what he sold already. So if there's anything short of that, you're going to have problems with the homeowner. You're going to have problems with the GC. And we don't want problems. We want execution. Okay? We want things to go smoothly, right? Because I don't want to get yelled at for a project manager doing something that I told him that he had to do. So that's going to bleed into your profit. It's going to bleed into your referrals. It's going to bleed into the company owner growing his operations the way that he knows he planned. So that's why it starts at the top, the leadership. If the company owner is not directing all the way down, and not in a demanding way, not in a demeaning way, in a way that uplifts them. Hey, as the owner, hey, I care about what you're doing here, because it does impact your pocket. But not only that, it does impact mine. But I don't want to make this about money as the owner. I want you to know that we're here to take care of your family. But if you're not doing the necessary things you need to do to take care of these jobs individually, if you're not doing everything you need to do to take care of each and every client and communicate that, because bleeding profits is not going to work for any company. And it shouldn't go to heart too much to the owner, because at the end of the day, there's a life that could be lost on a roof. So it is dangerous, okay? And talking someone down for a mistake they make is not going to get you anywhere either. If you have to fire that person, go ahead. That's a different story. But if you know you want them to work with you, if you know that you need them to grow your operations, then you're going to have to come at people in a positive, uplifting, and a vibrant way. Okay? I've been doing this a while. I'm just going to give you guys knowledge for free. I'm not going to charge anyone. I have so much experience. People always want to listen to me when I'm talking about roofing. Why? Because not only do I get excited about it, I get pumped up. Okay? And I know that with my experience in the commercial and the prevailing wage projects, and not only that, but residential, I can literally go to any company and grow my operation, because at the end of the day, I'm the asset here. And as a roofing salesman, you have to know that you are an asset. Okay? You are an asset, because if you take a salary, that asset is locked in. That's your asset that you gave away, your time for that specific asset. Okay? But an asset that's fluid, an asset that can grow, an asset that knows that they can take it to the next level, like me, like myself, you can't keep a base salary and not have commission structures. Okay? So if you're a roofing salesman and you want to take your stuff to the next level, you want to explode in your game, have multi-millions, which is something I've already done. And to me, it's just simple now. It's just a numbers game, right? For the roofing salesman, here's another tip. I want you to go out there and find 5 general contractors. You're going to have better luck looking for commercial general contractors than residential ones. Why? Because the residential general contractors are cheap. They want the cheapest guy almost every single time, unless they have a really great relationship built already. And if they do, they probably only use 1 or 2 roofers, and that's it. Okay? So, roofing salesmen, you want to take your game to the next level? You could do 100 roofs. But if you don't sell any of those, what's that going to say about your sales, your production, and your execution? Okay? It's going to bleed and it's going to show. Now, you want to take your sales to the next level? Shoot me a DM or an email or book a consultation on my website. I'm not here to sell anybody on anything. I'm not going to ask for you to get my training if you don't know for sure 100% that you need this because you're ready to go to the next level. Okay? I've sold more than $5 million over the last couple years, and it's just, I know too much to not give it to you guys for free now. All right? But if you want to train your team, if you want to train individually with me, you hit the jackpot, baby. All bullshit aside, I'm not here to play games with anybody. I'm also not really in the insurance game, which that's a whole different story. I'm literally going to teach you how to build some real genuine connections with general contractors, how to scale them, okay, and how to really make profits on the jobs you already have, okay? Because what's $100 million if you're making 0 or you're barely covering your overhead? What's $100 million in sales if everyone's talking shit about your company and your operations and it barely makes any money? Let's get real with ourselves here. You need a coach. You need someone with experience that you don't have. And not to say you don't know everything about roofing, because I'm sure everyone can come on here and say, I know everything about roofing. And you know what? I'm still learning. I'm still growing. And I've been doing this 11 years already. There's a technique, there's mastery, there's self-mastery that comes into being a great salesman. Not only that, I know there's something holding you back. There's always something holding us back from our true potential. So let's find out what that is. Let's break it open. Let's expand your roofing sales. If you're just starting out and you have 0 roofing sales, join me. I'm going to do everything in my power to get you to that first million. And it's going to happen most likely within a year. Okay? Realistically, 1 year to get to 1 million if you've never done roofing before or sales. For those of you owners that want to take your roofing to the next level, you don't have the time to train your people, right? You bring in a new person, you don't want to take all the time to train them. So if you pay a lump sum to get me to go train them, I'll train them virtually, I'll train them in person. You fly me out there, I'm going to take care of you guys. This is no BS. I'm not here to play games with no one, like I said. Do I look like someone who's going to play games with you? No. So with my experience, I teach you and your guys how to take this to the next level. But do me a favor. For those of you guys just starting out, or those of you that are already experienced and you hit a wall, go find 5 commercial general contractors, get in their good grace, find 1 person in that company, just 1. All you need is 1 of them to say yes. And you can open the gates with just 1. Imagine 1 general contractor who's about to build a large building with a roofing budget of $100K. Now imagine doing that 5 times with 5 people. You're really building a relationship with 1 general contractor, 1 estimator that can get you in the door and get you those plans so you can bid it and put it together. And then there's your follow-up. You're going to continue blowing them up at least every couple days or every week to get some answers on how your number did, how it looks, and what you can do to better serve them, and how you can get any other quotes that they need for them in a timely manner. Do that 5 times at 100K. You just landed 500K with 5 contractors. And I guarantee you, you execute, you make sure the salesman's on point, the project manager is on point, and the installers are on point. And your jobs will profit. Not only will they profit, but those 5 general contractors that just gave you 500K, guess what? They're going to come back. And before you know it, each one is giving you 5 jobs around 100K for the entire year. 500K times 5, that's $2.5 million. Okay? You see how quickly you can scale this? Sure, it might take a year and a half to 2 years, but 5 contractors can get you to 2.5. Now, everything you do on the side, those residential leads the company you're working for is giving you, is going to help push you to the next level. Okay? So, that's it for now. Go get yourself 5 general contractors under your belt, and I promise, by this time, in a couple months, or even in a year, you're going to be watching this video, you're going to say, damn, I took this guy's advice, and it fucking worked. Manny, MJ, Los Dueños Consulting, hit me up.